right, who wants to start us off?
How don't you try an opening, and then I'll try an opening.
And then Braden tries
and
an
then
opening.
we'll have Braden try an opening.
Hi guys, it's me, Braden. I'm really cool. Thanks for having me on podcast. Thank you.
It'll be hi.
Hi guys, it's my Braden. Thank you.
I don't know why I'm here.
Welcome to Cannibal Cast.
Welcome.
Your number one source of 4 on the web.
Hell
Wait,
yeah,
which
dude.
podcast are we doing?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Cassette Lounge Podcast, episode number 1. It's your boy Jake. I'm joined here by my
His good friend RJ.
good friend RJ and special guest.
The one who just kind of walked in.
We're starting off episode 1 with a guest star. So that's gonna be a good time.
We found him on the corner. He had a nice little sign. He was like, I can't find my feelings. And now he's here.
We offered him candy. He came. We're here.
Always go with the person who offers you candy.
It's very true.
Good life advice there, kids.
All right.
Never
So this
think
is our guest
anything
star,
will go wrong.
Braden.
Braden, what do you want to be called?
Braden.
Okay.
All right.
Actually, I don't want my real name on this. I'm Chonka.
Chonka. All right.
Chonka.
That's some weird-ass tribal name, but it's what you're going by for the rest of the podcast.
Chonka hails from the jungles of Africa.
The deepest, most ancient of jungles. Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself? Like, why are you here?
I need to do laundry.
True story, folks.
I'm going to start out this week because I have something I really want to talk about.
Okay.
True story, everybody. So come with me. This is a flashback. All right, so it's me, Jake. Hi, everybody. It's me. I'm browsing Twitter. I'm having a good time. I just woke up. I
browses
got my
Twitter?
coffee. What?
Sorry to interrupt, but who browses Twitter?
I browse Twitter.
Okay, go on.
Twitter is beautiful. It's like,
I uninstalled Twitter on my phone.
fuck you. Twitter's great.
Go on with your story,
All
Jake.
right. Okay, hey, yo, check it out. It's me, Jake. I'm on Twitter. I just had my coffee. I just woke up. I'm having a good time. I'm browsing the memes. I'm having the chuckles. I'm browsing the babes. I'm having the spunkles. And I come across something just so strange. Okay, let me back up. There's this wrestler that I follow named Asuka. I followed her for a very long time. She retweets this girl who did a cosplay of her, quote unquote. All this lady did was draw a line across her face with a black magic marker, and that's enough to warrant a retweet. And I'm just like, God, what is the absolute least effort that somebody would have to put in to get noticed by a celebrity like that? And I'm going to turn this into a little social experiment. So as soon as this goes live, I'm actually going to make a fake Twitter account. Well, I'm going to make a bot account. Whatever. Give it a fake name. I'm going to see what the absolute least effort needed is to get noticed by a celebrity. I'm not sure how I'm going to get gauge this yet. I'm not sure if just a like counts or if it has to be a retweet, if it has to be like grandiose attention. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to go with the first time that I get mentioned. You know what I mean?
I hope that that you're going to just have a picture of a paper bag and with the caption of "Do you love me?" and just send that off to like Donald Trump or something.
It's gonna be my alt account where my goal is just to get blocked by every member of the human race.
You know, I've been quoted in a celebrity tweet exactly once.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Well, I guess I say celebrity, but it was just David Hayter.
Oh.
I tweeted him once and asked him if he was afraid that people were just going to pigeonhole him as Lupin III.
I see.
And he commented back saying that was the best tweet he'd gotten all month.
Aww.
I'm sure he appreciated it.
So yeah, hey,
No context.
what should be the name for my my fake account? What should my IRL name be?
Ooh.
Chonka.
The
Tonk.
The Noodle Poodle.
The Noodle Poodle? No, it has to be a real name.
That's okay. You're telling
That
me
can be the
Noodle
handle.
Poodle doesn't
It has to
sound
be
like a real
like
name?
it has to be like Buster Hyman or like Miles Long Dong.
gonna be like
Cherry Poppins.
Why don't you just be named like
Cherry
Hillary Clanton?
Kilroy Clanton.
Cherry
It's
Johnson.
genius.
Cherry Johnson.
Cherry Johnson is a legend.
Cherry Johnson. I like it.
Uh,
I'm gonna be Limes Jackson.
that's all right, I guess.
It's fucking stupid. Don't encourage that. So yeah, ongoing experiment.
All right.
All
I
right.
look forward to the results on that.
Thank you. I do too. I think the way I'm just gonna go is gonna make like MS Paint stick figure drawings where it's just a stick figure and I'll be like, hey, Jim Carrey. Hey,
Look at this webcomic I made of you.
Stefan Carl Stephenson. I drew this for you.
Macaulay Culkin, it's you.
Macaulay Culkin, it's you. It's a stick.
All right, so
Where's-
what kind of topics do we have for today?
Oh God, we got a few.
I've got on my list just a few of them here that we could talk about today.
All right.
I've got webcomics. That's one I've been wanting to talk about just because I've got some webcomics I like.
All right, fuck it, man. Let's talk about webcomics.
All
What
right.
you got?
Well, just kind of dialogue on, what webcomics we like, what webcomics we don't like, that sort of thing, because pretty much everyone I know has some sort of webcomic
Yeah.
that they like. A close amount of that, there's all that have a webcomic they really, really don't like.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. What you got?
Well, one of the webcomics I really like, and it's one that I kind of forget exists, and then months later I see it posted on 4chan or something, and I have to go back and archive binge, is Womp. You know Womp, right?
I barely know Womp.
Sad. I honestly cannot think of anything bad about it.
You introduced me to Womp,
Really?
and it's hilarious, hilarious punchlines.
It's okay. No, Womp is great. I just like it because the author isn't a dick.
Yeah.
I've never found an instance of the author being a dick to anyone. He goes to conventions occasionally, but other than that, he just makes his comic. He makes it stay on schedule. It's a just really churned out, just good comic.
Yeah.
It's humorous.
It's harmless.
It's incredibly harmless.
Yeah,
There's
that's
nothing
good.
about it that honestly, ever bothers me at all. I read the comic and I know I'm going to at worst go oh, sensible chuckle.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
That's
It's
good.
about a fat guy who's sad about his life.
It hits too close to home, my
It's
friend.
too close.
It's about me.
Wait, hey, do you have any webcomics you like, Mr.
Yeah,
Guest
Brandon.
Star?
If Cyanide and Happiness counts.
Cyanide and Happiness definitely counts.
So,
It
yeah,
counts.
I like those. That was pretty much it.
All right, so
Cyanide and happiness. There you go, folks. The Braden exclusive.
you like the whole depressing comics week, Cyanide and Happiness?
I
Good
do.
times.
I don't know that much about webcomics. There are a few I like, though. When I was a little baby boy, I used to really like XKCD. You know that one?
Oh, I love XKCD.
Yeah.
XKCD is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. One that people might not know about and doesn't fit traditionally in the webcomic kind of format. Do you know Surviving the World?
No?
Okay, there's
Is
this
it some
guy
weird
named...
Homestuck shit?
Nah, fuck
Oh.
that.
Good.
Just a little bit, but no. There's this professor, I forget where he teaches at, but his name is Dante Shepard. And he just has these little lessons for life that he draws on a billboard. It's been going on for fucking 7 years now. It's shutting down very soon, though. I think he said he's going to do a year more. But yeah, if you just go on that one and hit random, it's always a good time. Another great webcomic, and I showed you this one. You'll have to tell me what you thought of it. I love the webcomic Garf Burt by Jim Jadams.
Oh my god. You showed me that.
Garf
and
Burt is beautiful.
I was reading it. I didn't read too much of it, but it was really interesting because the humor, it actually had legitimate humor in it that wasn't just mashup humor.
Yeah.
And that was really weird to me.
Yeah.
That was weird to me because I expected it to be some bullshit of oh, hey, cat, you're bad at your job. Also, stop eating all of the lasagna. Some just bullshit anti-humor like that. But no, it actually had good humor. I would definitely recommend throwing up a few strips up on the media screens
Right there.
for the fans to read.
Here's my favorite one.
Have you ever heard a prequel?
I don't know prequel. Is that the one? Is that the
Got the
Skyrim
cat
one?
girl. It's not Skyrim. It's Oblivion. But yeah, you're close.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's actually really good, honestly, in my opinion. It's started as a Homestuck clone and then kind of veered off and kind of found its own identity. It still does the whole like text prompt stuff even after Homestuck. It like abandoned that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't like Homestuck, so
Ooh.
yeah, I don't. I'm sorry,
Ooh.
but no, prequel's pretty good. The biggest problem with it is that it doesn't update very frequently.
Mm-hmm.
It was already known for that before it had a 2-hour hiatus or 2-year hiatus.
2-hour hiatus. When's it gonna be here?
Yeah, it had a 2-year hiatus, and I remember that. Like, I remember waiting because I got into the comic a few months before this hiatus started. Yeah. So, you know, I'd had definitely enough time to get caught up. And then this hiatus starts, and 2 years later, like 2 months ago, it started back up again.
Nice.
And now it's doing, it might have been like 1 month ago actually, but now it's doing like every 2 weeks or so. Still pretty infrequent, but
yeah,
it's a lot better now.
Yeah, I remember when Guts was trying to get off the ship too. Anyway, next topic.
So I've got, for other topics, I have Mississippi River, fact or fiction?
Okay, please do.
Alright, so here's my thinking. Have you ever seen the Mississippi River?
Yes.
Have you ever really seen the Mississippi River?
I've crossed the damn river.
Alright, we're marking that as fact. No, hold up. No, I wanted to give my theory on this first. Okay. Alright, so here's
everybody,
the thing.
Stop. Everybody, you remember the tinfoil hats that aired with this YouTube link? Please, hey, great joke, guys. Anyway, RJ, please.
Alright, so Mississippi River. Alright, you know the phrase, you know, like best X this side of the Mississippi, right? You know, best carpenter, best fuck, best
side of the Mississippi
fuck.
River, this side of the Mississippi.
But even radio stations are named after which side of the Mississippi River they're on.
That's true.
You know, you've got the W for one side, you've got the K for the other side, or whatever. You know, it's really interesting. I think it's one of those invisible barriers made to divide people, like, you know, borders, the equator, whether people like Jack in the Box or Five Guys.
Yeah.
You know, just invisible lines that don't mean anything, but they just divide people. You've divided the United States very neatly between here is one side, the K side, and over here is the other side, it's the W side.
You're talking about like the Mason-Dixon line.
Oh, the Mason-Dixon line is another one that I thought about.
Yeah.
You know, it's another one of those just dividers. So interesting, huh? Or the Florida-Georgia line.
God. Side note, I've seen them in concert. That was the first concert I went to.
And then, so you're saying you believe in the Florida-Georgia line too?
I've seen them.
I've seen it with my own eyes, Cap.
This guy is so blue-pilled. Anyways, yeah, no, Mississippi doesn't exist. You've ever seen it? It's probably like, you know, some mirrors.
Now
and
the
some...
entire state of Mississippi doesn't exist? Is that what you're saying now?
Wait, you believe in that too?
More like Mrs. Sia.
That does no.
More like
Mississippi's not a state.
Miss Ya When You're Gone.
No, I feel like an idiot
IPPI.
because I just said Mississippi's a state.
Mississippi.
Mississippi is a state.
Yeah,
You're convincing him.
The-
He doesn't know what's real and what isn't at this
The
point.
actual principality of
I got a D
Mississippi.
in fucking geography. I don't know shit.
I will always look back fondly on the moment where I got you to question whether Mississippi really was or was not a state. That's really all I have to talk about on that topic. I don't believe in the Mississippi River. I'm sorry. Come at me, bro.
Don't try to argue at me with facts.
It's like Finland.
Like Finland.
You ever read that theory? It's
Yes.
a terrible theory.
Here's a game theory for you.
What?
The Danish. Are you
Okay.
aware of the Danish?
I'm aware. They're
All
really
right.
tasty.
So yes, there are
Let's go.
there are Danish there are Danish people, there are Danish people. But here's something here's something. I got a globe. I bought a globe, RJ. I flipped to Middle Europe, you know, around it. And I get out my pointer finger and I'm looking everywhere. I don't see Danland.
You know, you're right.
I don't see Danland. Where do these Danes come from? I don't see Danland or Daneland or anything.
You're entirely right.
Brayden, talk to us about something. What's going on in your life?
Yeah, give us a topic.
What do you want to talk about, man? Because you're here.
You're here. You're part of the podcast.
You're
Let's
here.
go.
I don't know.
We want a normie perspective on things.
Talk to us about the games you're playing. Talk to us too about the
I'm playing a lot of Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, let's
Tell
talk
us about that game.
Let's talk about Shadow of Mordor. I'll talk about my experiences. This is my experience. I played it on PlayStation 3. I can very easily see how somebody would not
God.
like that game
It's
because
horrible
oh
on
my
PS3.
god, it is. The loading
I'm
time.
Legitimately
playing it on
bad.
PC now, and it's 10 million times better.
Dude, I
That's
believe
not
it.
even an exaggeration. It's
Yeah.
just
We're talking about like upwards of minute loading times just for menus, between menus.
constant audio stuttering just in normal gameplay.
Yeah, it's very true.
and video stuttering.
The game looks like actual garbage on PS3.
I would recommend for anyone who is curious about what we're talking about, you may not have touched the PlayStation port, might be going, oh, it's not that bad. I'd recommend checking out the Two Best Friends play of it. Go check out Two Best Friends play Shadow of Mordor, PlayStation 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
That video will exemplify everything we're talking about. It'll corroborate our story.
Dude, God, all the tutorials at the beginning, it was so draining. It was like, do this, and then do this, and do this, and it's like, oh my god, just let me play the fucking game, please. Please let me play the game. Thank you. But it was such a trek to get into it. But by the end, I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not really a fan of Arkham Asylum combat, you know what I
I
mean?
hate Arkham
But
Asylum combat.
it wasn't bad.
Our roommate Jesse's always talking to me about how he doesn't understand why I don't like Arkham Asylum's combat.
Shout out to Jesse. Fuck you, Jesse. Anyway.
And by that I mean every time I say Arkham Asylum's combat is bad, he tells me no it's not, and then goes on with whatever he's doing.
Best argument.
Hey, left on the cutting room floor, ladies and germs. RJ, let's talk about something really specific that just bothers you to no end. You know what I mean? All right, it's something so minute, and you can't exactly explain it, but for some reason it just infuriates you, and I'll tell you mine really quick. All right, nothing makes me angrier, and I can't explain this. Please gleam from this about me what you will. Nothing makes me angrier than stock photos of children smiling or eating food. Every time I see a child smiling at me on a poster, I'm just like, oh, you think something's funny? You're laughing at me?
I hate. My brother does this all the time because he knows I hate it. When it's only on the radio, like car stereo
Yeah,
radio, if the volume is not on a 5 or a 0,
yeah.
so like 25 or 20, it can't be in between. It annoys the ever living piss out of me.
See, I deliberately make sure it's never on a 5 or a 0 because I live on the edge. For me, my strangely specific thing is definitely when people have on their computer, like watching on YouTube or Netflix or something, so on like a laptop or something, with the speakers on, they're watching stand-up routines. Absolutely infuriates me. I do not know why. I know it sounds completely autistic, but if I'm in a room and there is a computer or like a phone or something going on and just has like an hour-long stand-up routine, you know, like Ron White or Jeff Dunham or any of those other comedians, I can't stand it. If it's on TV, if you're watching it on TV, that's fine. That's perfectly well and good. I might sit down and watch it with you. But if you're on like a laptop or something, I don't know, something about the way the acoustics are in those videos, or just the whole concept of, you know, this full-on hour-long just listening to people thing. I don't know. Something about it just infuriates me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I have a similar thing where, wait, no I don't. What the fuck?
I like that my madness is just rubbing off on people today. I mean, I got him to think that Mississippi wasn't a state. I got you to think that you've got something as autistic as just hating stand-up routines on YouTube.
Mine is up there. Just getting mad at children eating food and smiling.
I feel like that's
How
almost
dare
like an
you be
instinctual
happy and I'm
response.
not?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. They're happy and I'm not. Fuck, man. What do you want to talk about?
Learning about the peafowl.
Learning about the peafowl.
You told Braden that he was going to learn about the peafowl. I feel like you should talk about it. Tell us. Give me every bit of information you know on peafowl.
Hand me that cup with the peafowl information on it. Most people use the term peacock to describe this type of bird, but they are actually called peafowl. The male peafowl is called a peacock, the female is a peahen, and the offspring are peachicks. Don't interrupt me!
I'm sorry. It's just so
Actual
dumb.
legit fucking thing.
Only the male peacocks have the extravagant, colorful tails, which make up 60% of their total length. This cup was made in the US of A, and it is recyclable.
Wow, that's
Wow.
surprising.
Wow.
Something actually made in the USA. Not in
Fascinating.
China.
Ooh.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's talk about your just absolute hatred of China, because I hear you talk about it all the time. You're just all like, them Chinese crossing the wall, taking our gerbs. Come on, talk about it.
Fuck are you
No,
talking
The
about?
Great Wall? What the fuck?
Crossing the Great Wall.
God, don't try to hide your blatant hatred
Braden,
of the Chinese
I'm not
people.
gonna. I'd like it if we made our own shit more often.
Hey, everybody, do you want to hear an absolutely true story?
So far, goddamn dead.
I was working absolutely just really hard to get everything thrown together. So I got the entire recording studio, quote unquote, set up. Everything was perfect, right? I'm sweating bullets by this point. I'm so tired from working so hard. I heard the door ring. I said, oh, wipe my brow from working so hard. It's my good favorite friends, RJ and Braden, ready to come over and help us with the podcast. I opened the door. Hello, RJ. How are you doing? I'm doing fine, sir. Oh, that's good to hear. Braden, how are you doing? He said, those damn dirty
Fuck up. Definitely not. a true
Oh, I
story.
remember that now.
He did say those exact words.
I just kind of tuned it out because it's just like completely normal conversation in my household now. Tell us about your favorite PS2 games.
First game I ever played was Desert Storm.
Desert
That's the one
Storm.
my dad got with the PS2, and it was a fun game. I tried to get it on computer actually recently, but goddamn, it's buggy as all hell.
That's
you just
sad.
kind of start floating if you try to go down a hill. You just essentially just start floating out.
Yeah.
And
You know what? That's a great topic. We kind of touched on the pilot episode, but what are some games that you went back and played very recently from your childhood that just disappointed you? They were just not what you remember.
Vice City.
Vice
Grand Theft
City?
Auto, mainly because I couldn't get the damn thing to work on the computer.
Oh, sad. I'd definitely say Half-Life 1, I absolutely adore it, even still. And going back and playing it, it's still great.
Yeah.
But it's weird going back and playing it and just not being as terrified as I was when
Yeah,
I
I
was
know what you
younger. Man, I have vivid memories of playing Half-Life 1 and being, like, completely pants-wettingly terrified. Even with all my guns and ability to kill the aliens. I remember, like, one point, like, going up a ladder, and the ladder takes you up to, second floor, and as you just poke right up above the floor, getting up, there's a head crab and a head crab zombie right there, already coming at you, and I noped out of that shit. I turned off the PS2 because that's what I had that game on. And I didn't play it again for at least like 10 minutes.
Nice.
It's a great game though.
The game I wish they'd remaster, like just the same game, just remaster it. SSX Tricky.
I know what you're talking
Such
about.
a fun game.
I never played any. What is that? Snowboarding?
Yeah,
That was very close to being a PlayStation 2 launch title, right?
it is PlayStation 2, I think.
Yeah.
What was the launch title? That's the big question.
I think it was close.
Probably was.
We'll fact check here. I'll put up I'm wrong because I have no idea what I'm talking about right here. RJ, while we're on the subject of games, just a kind of a smooth transition, what are some of your guilty pleasure games? Games that you know are not good, but you
You don't want to know
enjoy.
the answer to those.
Oh shit. I don't know. I'm too steeped in irony to know anymore. Braden, help jog my memory. What are some games you know of that I should
what
be
was that
guilty
porn
of?
one?
Oh shit! Yes. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about some porn games. All right. Slave Maker. Definitely Slave Maker.
Slave Maker is the buggiest shit, and it's like this is just a problem with me that I don't like text adventures. I'm just like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay, I shouldn't have fucked the bee. I get it.
What was the
You're
one that
talking
you
about
created?
Corruption Champions?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's Slave Maker.
Slave Maker is the one that's kind of like Princess
Oh,
Maker.
yeah.
Is that the one you made the really, really disturbing ass one you put on the Discord?
No, that was Honey Select.
Oh, God.
Everyone's just slowly learning about the kind of games that are installed on my computer here.
Yep.
Yeah, there's those. There's a couple of bad games I don't mind playing. Actually, when I first got into emulation, like started emulating games, I actually did check out Superman 64.
Yeah.
This was like back in like middle school or something, and I checked out Superman 64 and wasn't repulsed. I actually like took these shitty flying mechanics and I was all like, you know, these ring races aren't that bad. And I did them a lot. That was cool.
He loves Overwatch.
No, I fucking hate Overwatch. Fuck you. I guess the more true guilty pleasure for me would probably be Stardew Valley or The Sims. I know that those games are really.
I wouldn't call The Sims a bad game.
It's not. No, that's the thing. They're like games like those aren't bad games. They're just the kind of games that, you know, people don't expect. I don't see myself playing them nearly as much as I do. I kind of enjoy them. I kind of enjoy just like making houses in The Sims and playing like 10 minutes of it or something. You know?
I know what you mean.
I don't spend hours playing it though. It's just does not hold my attention long enough. But I don't mind like launching up and just checking out how my family's doing, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you mean. God, I guess a guilty pleasure for me would probably be Blood Rain. Even though that is a shitty, horrible, terrible video game.
Blood Rain isn't that bad.
No, it's not.
More terrible movie.
Oh my god. Let's talk about Uwe Boll. But
All
first. No, it was one of the first games I played on PS2. So I have kind of a reverence for that reason. I think it was one of the first games that actually scared me because there's like these bug mosquito creatures in the very first level and they can like swallow people whole and then carry them off. And I was like, that's terrifying.
I can see why that'd be scary to you.
Yeah.
First game to really scare me was Super Mario 64, of course, because
Really?
that freaking piano.
Yeah.
I don't know what the first game was to scare me, actually.
I hope it was Silent Hill.
No,
I hope it was something good.
I don't remember. I have to go look and see if my PS.
First game never scared me was Scary Maze.
I guess that supersedes all. Oh, we should totally just have up on the screen right now. We should just totally have Ghost Car.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
a
good
good time.
idea. Here it comes. Here it comes. Haha.
Is that that commercial?
Oh,
Is that
my God.
commercial or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Scary shit in a non-scary video game is one of my favorite topics to talk about, just in normal conversation.
Yeah.
And for me, I used to play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on
Yeah.
my PS2.
Yep.
And, you know, I got kind of involved in all of the, like, theories surrounding, like, the backwoods areas of that game.
Yeah.
And legitimately made me really scared to play the game for a long time. There's not even anything there. If you've played San Andreas and like gone to the backwoods areas, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's just something unsettling about them.
It's true.
There's just something really unsettling, and then you have the sheer amount of like urban legends about like, oh, here's how to unlock Bigfoot or Leatherface, or like there's a wheelchair on the pier that
Yeah.
like there's a way to push it down into the water and summon something scary, you know, stuff like that. It's a lot of it found its way into GTA 5, which is really cool.
That is
I
cool.
remember actually getting into the Area 51 like base underneath, like figuring out how to get in, like, cause you can.
Oh,
actually
without
get,
the story mission?
maybe, yeah.
Or did you go on the story mission?
I think I did both.
Okay.
Like I went in afterwards, and I remember just being unsettled because it's so
Yeah,
eerie.
no, it's weird down
and
there.
you know, thinking like, you know, they could have put an alien in here.
You know,
I
the
think they
thing,
did, didn't they?
the Men in Black sort of characters that are down there, that like that run at you and everything, they make lines that imply that they're aliens. Like, they'll be all like, "You evolved from shrews," and stuff like that. No, there is genuinely a decent amount of stuff in San Andreas that was intended to be kind of creepy.
If I could give a feeling akin to kind of the backwoods areas of San Andreas, I would describe it as the same feeling that you get when you visit old Angel Fire or GeoCities websites with the black backgrounds and the white and the green text, and it's like visitors on this page right now. It just feels so creepy and so lonely.
Yeah. No, the old internet is a creepy thing to me.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're so right.
It's
early like Macromedia Flash animations, which is so terrifying.
Yeah.
Early like GIFs and like that, where it was like 3 colors.
Yeah, it was terrible. Because that stuff was already kind of creepy, and then you go back, and it's just creepier because it's ghosts of a bygone era.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who like sometimes will just get on like YouTube and just look up like scary sightings and shit like that?
See, that's a normie way to go about doing what we're doing. But yeah, no, I totally get you.
I just do that. And so
calling
just
you a
legitimately
normie.
freak out.
I like the fake sightings, or like when it's obviously fake. That's really funny to me.
See, that ties into that stuff about San Andreas. I used to watch tons of like ghost videos, ghost sightings in San Andreas, and it'd be stuff like you watch a video and it'd be in CJ's house, and a shadow from one of the pedestrians outside would just barely clip through.
Yeah. And
the video would zoom in on it and circle it and be all like, "Look, evidence of a ghost of CJ's mom," and stuff like that.
I remember that was a big thing when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, is because it was set in Los Santos. They were like, "Carl Johnson found in GTA 5 real ? Not a trick." And then it's just like Michael whoever just like shooting some black guy wearing a green shirt. They zoom in on his dead face.
Another topic.
What's up?
Does anyone here believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
No.
Can't really say I do.
I kind of have.
I've experienced it, but I've seen enough I've seen enough scientific evidence, like the fact that just vents, just vents in a house can vibrate at just the right frequency.
Yeah.
Where it's not audible to humans, but it's still, your brain still picks it up, and you start to feel chills, or you start to see things moving at the corner of your eye and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that that's going to happen to multiple people that go there. And so usually people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not making it up because such and such person also came in and saw the same stuff and everything." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's because the vents are vibrating."
My situations were not like that though, unfortunately.
Tell us your ghost story.
All right,
So,
tell us.
I've got a
I'm
few.
spooked.
Cue spooky music.
The first one was we lived in a house and it had a downstairs, and that's where my brother's room was.
Right.
And his buddy came over, and we were upstairs, and me and his buddy were petting the dog, and he turned around and was like, "Who threw that?" And we're
Hold
like,
up. Is that a euphemism?
"No."
Okay, go on.
No. And he turned around, "Who threw that?" And was like, "Threw what?" And he said, "I felt like a BB," because we had airsoft guns fly past my head. I was like, "We didn't throw anything." And we go downstairs, and he's like, "All right, seriously, who the hell's doing that?" Because he heard it again, and he felt it again. And it's like, "We're not doing anything." And then we're in his room, and we had a whole bunch of boxes stacked up downstairs, and we had a little under the stairs cubby hole area where you can store stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on the floor next to the bed, and I can see straight out the doorway and looking at the TV. TV's kind of next to the doorway, and all of a sudden a box just goes flying across that room.
Oh my God.
How spoopy.
And so we got our dad, and our dad came down. My brother's got a knife 10 inches long. I've got a baseball bat because we're thoroughly freaked out at this point. And so he's moving stuff out of the way, and my dad opens that up, sees there's nothing, there's a guy in it. And
Question. Let me stop you there.
What?
Were the knife and the baseball bat, were those divine weapons?
We didn't care.
Okay, yeah, they wouldn't have worked, but go on.
Yeah, I already know that. But
I haven't been blessed.
the last time was actually in the dorms here in town.
Blank.
So I had 2 cases of water in we had these sliding door cupboards up above, and I had 2 cases of water in there. One was flat, one was partially just barely propped up on the other. And my roommate left. He made his bed. He left to go home for like the weekend. I get home one day. It's too hot in my room, or too cold in my room, so I grab my big blanket and I threw my small, like, little thin layered blanket up into that cubby hole up on the water. It's just chucked it up there. Whatever. I was laying in my bed, headphones in, watching a video, and all of a sudden I hear, like, what sounds like my water case is moving. I look up there, and the blanket is actually strung in the top of the sliding door.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's in there now. And so I'm like, I'm just going to ignore this. It's night. I'm just going to ignore it, pretend I didn't see it. Next day, I tried to, like, physically put it up there myself, and it was a pain. And a couple weeks later, when I finished that first case of water, the other case of water was completely sideways.
All right, so here's the thing. Neither one of those are evidence of ghosts. You know why? Because they're evidence of aliens instead.
Shut the fuck up.
No, seriously. Aliens are known to telepathically move things in order to scare people that they intend to abduct.
Well,
it's kind of breaking your willpower.
Well, I have good willpower, so fuck them.
Oh,
Anyways.
okay, whatever. We can all fail our will saves.
We heard a cat outside our window. We lived on the 5th fucking floor. Okay, and...
Evidence of aliens, I tell you.
Cats.
Aliens are cats.
5 floors.
I enjoy shitting on your stories.
There's no way it could have been on the ground because my roommate heard it through his headphones. It was like, it sounds like it's in the goddamn room with us.
Here's a game theory for you. What if somebody got a really big slingshot and they slung shut a kitty cat outside of your window?
Kudos to them for trying that hard.
What if somebody did a... what the fuck is that thing? It's a monkey ball. What if somebody had like a monkey ball speaker and they fucking and then they flung it up and then like dangled it outside your window and then it was like
I feel like they'd hear more than just one like cat.
Yeah, you probably hear like a thud. Yeah. Cat smacking the wall.
I have a scary dorm room story.
Alright,
so I was in my dorm room, right? Dead of night, like midnight o'clock, you know what I mean? Like just nothing. I was dead of night, you know, nothing suspect at all, but at the same time, a very magical time. Midnight 05, you know, about that time. So I'm sitting in my room, right? Just having a good old time. Just kind of taking in the world, you know.
having
you know how
a good scary coffee.
You know how it is at midnight o'clock, right?
Oh yeah, the
So
forbidden hour.
So I'm just sitting there, right? I'm like, let's have a nice little wank right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where.
Alright, I like where this is going.
No tissues.
Oh. I think I need to lay down. I'm about to have a heart attack, I think.
guys, is this real life?
I'm not. Just grab a tube sock.
Oh my god. Alright. So I've got...
But then I found a tube sock, so happy ending.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's better. Alright.
Almost feels like somebody else is doing it.
Well, I used to work at a store. I'm not going to tell you what the store is. And just so you know, I don't think there's any supernatural activity because I have a 100% logical explanation of this. It was still scary every night it happened.
Did you hear that, folks? A 100% logic explanation.
Oh my god, I'm sorry that sometimes I don't use my words.
Correct.
Anyways, no, I used to work at a store, and at the store, I was part of the closing shift.
Yeah.
And there was only ever really 2 people working at this store.
Yeah.
And at night, it'd be, you know, it would get time to close up, and, you know, we'd close up, and there's just me and one other person.
Yeah.
And there was, every time it'd be 15 minutes after closing, the breakers would shut off, okay? So the whole store, like, you hear a big thud because breakers are fucking loud, and then all the lights except for, like, the emergency lights, you know, turn off. And so the whole store gets really quiet, and then the motion-activated doll in the toy aisle would detect that and would start, you know, like, either, like, giggling uncontrollably or say things all like you know, like, dada or stuff like that. And it was just the most terrifying thing because it was a constant thing, you know, every night. Like, it just suddenly, big thud, everything gets dark, and then just a second later, you just hear like a little kid giggling somewhere else in the store.
The most magical sound unless it's night and you're alone.
It was absolutely terrifying every time it happens. I obviously, like, yeah, it's super obvious. Okay, yeah, motion activated doll, but it was just completely just pants-shittingly terrifying. Especially on overnight shifts when you would have to go turn on the breakers every hour or something.
Yeah.
Because they kept auto-shutting themselves off.
Yeah.
And so it just kept repeating. If you didn't remember to go check the breakers, everything would turn off. It'd suddenly be dark, and you're trying to find your way around, and there's this doll just giggling somewhere in the store.
Yeah.
Hey, he can't find his way.
There we
I'm
go.
single, ladies.
Did you hear that, ladies? Braden is single, so you know what you need to do. Go to my Twitter and DM your phone numbers to me.
You know, Braden, you're gonna have to make like a Twitter account or something that we can link to. For
I have a Twitter account. I just don't have it downloaded on my phone anymore.
is it like, can it be traced back to you though?
Yes.
Okay, then you're gonna have to make a new Twitter account.
Everybody, Braden's Twitter is @Jacksepticeye. Thank you.
Surprise guest.
What the fuck is this? Who's Braden?
All right, so yeah, we're back from our intermission.
And this is
so
how I
that's
start
cool.
playing games with Jacksepticeye.
So hey, Jake, actually,
Wouldn't it be funny if through making the podcast, Braden was the one that just like gained like a cult following and went on to do bigger and better things, and we're just here like, hey everybody, welcome back to episode 53. Let's talk about our favorite episode of Astro Boy. Anyway, go
Don't
on.
worry, as I'm rich and famous, I'll put out like tweets like, go watch this fucking.
go
Watch
watch
it
these
so that
guys.
can-
They're really funny.
We promise. When I'm rich and famous, I'll put out. Go on.
Those are
Oh,
put out.
put
All
out.
right.
The
Okay.
second he says, like, yep, that's all he's gonna say. He's just gonna like put out.
Hey, so speaking of the price of tea in China,
Yeah.
I was in your bathroom just a second ago, Jake.
Yeah.
Okay, draining the main bane, as it were, and I noticed that in your shower, you have up way high in the corner, you have shampoo bottles stacked up on top of each other.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
So I guess Jesus Christ, here we go. We're fucking really peeling the lid back. Hey everybody, my shower doesn't have enough shelves for all of my cleaning products. Thank you. I like to stay clean.
Oh, that was quite the rabbit hole there.
Let's talk about. I had something interesting I want to talk about, but I can't remember it. It was just something that happened that I was like, oh, here we go. All right,
let's talk.
about. Here we go. All right, let's talk about something strange that you just couldn't wrap your head around that happened to you very recently. I have an example. Okay. I was at the bars. I was being a good boy, and I was being a designated driver for my group of people I was
I
with.
remember this night because I was working that night.
He was working that night.
I was really
No,
confused.
but so it's like goddamn 2 in the morning probably, maybe like 1:30, whatever, and I'm just so tired, and I have to work in the morning, so I'm just like, I can't deal with any of this. So I sit down like a good loser, and I pull out my sketchbook, and I start having like fun draw times for myself. And I get approached by this guy, and he's like, hey man, I'm a writer. I just want to see what you're kind of writing. And I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, here, take a look. And he's like, well, yeah, these are cool drawings, man. And he's like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm blank. I don't remember his fucking name. But he was like, something weird that he said. He was like, have you heard of me? Do you know me? And I'm like, no. What the fuck does that mean? He's like, yeah, man, my name is blank. And you know something? Man, I've been here all night, getting hit on by fucking 5 hot bitches or whatever, but you're the only person that has kept my interest all night. Don't ever trade. He was acting really weird too. Alright, he is a goddamn street magician, and I'm being robbed right now. I know this for a fact, so as soon as he leaves, I'm gonna check on my pockets. But he was like, yeah man, of all the people I've seen, all these fucking hot bitches, you're the only one that stuck out to me. Don't ever change for anybody, man. He's like, alright, have a good night. I'm just like, that's such a
Welcome to the bar scene.
Yeah.
I've had guys try to make out with me before.
It
Doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've had
That's right.
at my favorite bar.
Brandon saving it for marriage.
Context: I work at bars.
I just go to bars a lot, and when you know Damien, right? We're gonna have him on the show at some point.
Shout out to Damien. You will see Damien.
When he and I go to the bar, At this point, I don't let him sit at the end seat because every time I sit near the middle, there's always someone sits down and drunkenly starts trying to have a conversation with me, and I'm just like, dude, stop. I've had a dude who it's always drifters. It's always people who aren't actually from town. They will want to just talk, and they will talk about how they are, going coast to coast on their travels or whatever, picking up bitches and everything, and they'll be asking me where to find weed or whatever. I'm like, dude, you can't find it at me. One guy just drunkenly kept asking me the same questions over and over again, that sort of thing. And it's just really annoying. It's just, at this point, I can't even come up with any standout stories because it's always the same thing. Someone drunkenly just starts wanting to know my life story, but the moment I start telling them it, they forget all about it and start telling me about their political views or ask me where to find drugs and everything. It's just annoying. Yeah. I did have a weird conversation at work the other day. I did have a guy the other day came up to me, talked to me, and he was telling me about how Mexican immigrants will work for cheaper than American citizens will, stuff like that. And at first I thought he was being really negative about immigrants. But then it turned out he was super positive. He was all like, yeah, these guys are sitting down, they're working for cheaper, but they're working harder, and they save their money, and they're earning their big ass pickup trucks and everything like that. Yeah. Starts telling me about how if I want a wife that'll cook for me, that I need to get a Mexican immigrant wife, from Mexico. She couldn't be born in the U.S. She couldn't have been raised in the U.S. She has to be lived in Mexico until she was 20 and then came over to the US. And apparently it's a big market because they want citizenship and everything like that, and that's just the perfect wife right there. And I'm just like, dude, no, stop talking to me. And he started telling me his big conspiracy theory on how all the meat packing plants are full of they'll have whatever animals, cats, raccoons, horses, black guys that fell in the grinder. That was what he told me. Black guy that fell in the grinder. I just hate talking to people like that because I'm too polite. I never tell them to leave. I never go hey, I want to go away.
I have the same problem, and I've very recently just learned the value of just walking away. Let me tell you, okay, everybody out there, walk away every time. You lose absolutely nothing and you have everything to gain. Just walk.
That's what sucks sometimes about my job. Sometimes I have to stay in that area. Yeah. I can't leave that area. She's like, well, I'm screwed. Especially when I'm at the front door.
When I was in high school, I worked at a store, and there was one time when there's no managers, anyone came in that day. Yeah. The store was locked, and I was just this part-timer, just kind of at 6 a.m, standing outside of this store, not sure what to do. And I eventually once I got in contact with a manager who was out of town, got in contact, was all like, hey, so we need someone here to open the store. We need someone with keys. They're like, okay, yeah, give me 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, and they start trying to go. Yeah. And I was just telling people that kept showing up to the store. I was outside the door being like, hey, sorry, something's going on. Store isn't open right now. Can't do anything about it. Yeah. And in the last 10 minutes of that, some guy walks up to me and starts up a big conversation about how Walmart and Obama are part of some big conspiracy to keep Republicans out of jobs and shit like that. And he starts telling me his whole life story on all the Walmarts he's worked at and how he kept getting fired because of Obama and shit. And the worst part about it is that at this point my mother had come to bring me coffee and was in the vehicle, right on the sidewalk, parked on the curb, in a vehicle, could have at any point, gotten out and gone and, been oh, hey, we need to go do this thing. Came up with
Right,
some
right,
excuse.
right.
And no, she was sitting back there. She leaned back so the person couldn't see her because she was laughing. Because I was stuck talking to this guy about how Obama keeps costing him his job. And she was just laughing about it. My coffee got cold. It was the worst
Aw,
thing.
poor baby.
Oh, it was terrible.
I worked for Walmart and I got fired by it because of Obama too.
Yeah. Damn
Doesn't matter
Obama.
that Obama wasn't in office at the time. But still
Oh, it's all
Obama's
part of
fault.
like some big conspiracy. You know, Obama's at the head of it, right behind.
Obama
it's like,
made my phone not work.
Yeah. No,
So I
that's
missed
a real
one.
thing. Obama and Kanye West are in league with the aliens, and they're
Yeah.
currently disabling people's
I think
devices.
I'm a avid believer that Kanye West is a fucking alien.
Yeah, I like Kanye West.
And he's alright. He's got the talent, I won't deny.
Yeah, that's the thing about Kanye West. Kanye West is a shitty human being
Yeah,
with a weird taste in women.
yeah.
Who
If we can even call her a woman.
I just find the Kardashians annoying, but then
Oh, yeah.
that's not an uncommon opinion.
Sure, that's most opinions.
But Kanye West is a terrible human being at times, but at the same time, I do genuinely think his music is actually really good.
I will say that the Yeezus album has aged very, very well. It is still,
You're not wrong.
yeah. It I don't know if I would go so far to say it was ahead of its time.
No, definitely not.
But I would say that listening to it now sounds like something from this wave of music. Does that make sense?
I can totally see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, that's the thing is Kanye West albums usually get high marks
Yeah.
from critics.
Yeah.
Even critics that don't like hip hop or rap or anything, they'll usually get high marks just for being musically good.
And then who the hell names their child North?
No, North is a great name. Fuck you.
Fucking Kanye West naming his kid North. That is.
No, that's a great name.
Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest. It's awesome. I'm convinced it's part of some big thing involving ley lines. You have to go to a certain point and go northwest from there, and you'll find the key to eternal happiness. I'm convinced that Kanye knows, Obama knows, Hillary Clinton know, and they're all part of this. Just big way. It's like some national treasure bullshit, but it's just to achieve nirvana.
If my last name was West, I would name my child Brandon. So that his first initial would be West.
That sounds no, it's terrible.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is B. West.
All right.
Hey, I got a topic.
Yeah?
What movies coming out are you excited for and or are dreading because you know what they're gonna bring?
I think I've got a couple. I can't remember.
I'll give mine really quick. It's not something that a lot of information is known about right now, but Robert Rodriguez of Spy Kids directing fame. he also directed Machete and a few other movies. But he is directing a live-action adaptation of Battle Angel Alita. Do you know this? Do you know this anime?
I do not.
Oh, it's a good time.
I hope it's some Angel Blade bullshit.
No,
Sad.
it's not. Oh, we should talk about hentai.
Yeah.
No, no.
No, this is the perfect time.
This
We've got
is
a
great.
guest star who's a normie.
Yay!
All right. Sounds
RJ, let's
great.
talk about hentai. What's some of your favorite hentai series?
All right. Angel Blade.
Okay.
I love Angel Blade. You know why? Because it's got plots. Okay. No, okay, here's the thing. I actually find 90s hentai to be interesting because they actually do. It's weird. It's the weird cocktail of like really raunchy shit combined with like animation that's actually genuinely still kind of good because it's still pencil drawn.
Yeah.
That's not nowadays. It's really lazy because it's all CG. You know.
I would call it lazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I would call it lazy and also too clean, if that makes sense.
No, yeah.
But anyway,
you're right.
go on.
Okay, so pencil drawn. You've got this weird cocktail of pencil drawn, bad voice acting. Usually is pretty outlandish sci-fi plots that actually try to be semi-serious because you're straight up buying this from a store.
Yeah.
So they actually have like kind of long involved plots. Like yeah, Angel Blade has a full Wikipedia article that gives like the full like plot and all the characters and like the critical reception of it and everything like that, because Angel Blade, and let me tell you, this is some fucked up shit, like, you know, demons growing cocks and like, you know, like scantily clad, and by scantily clad I mean like only her shoulders and like her legs are covered, everything else is bare, you know, like just completely, it's some raunchy shit.
I find that I need shoulders to be uncovered before I can come.
Oh, you're one of those people, eh?
You're one of those freaks.
Only this was real.
Ankles aren't enough for you?
Angles are cool.
Alright, Brayden, tell me about your favorite hentai.
Brayden, tell us about the 2D
hentai.
girls.
I don't do anything with hentai.
Brayden does no way exists in a third dimension.
I have no idea what that even fucking means.
Okay. I'll tell you about a hentai I saw lately. It was a monster girl hentai, right?
Alright.
So the setup is like, I think there was like a shark girl, and I think there was like a squid girl, or maybe a spider girl. But the first one was a centaur girl, right? And they're in a bar or whatever. So yeah, centaur girl, top half girl, bottom half horse, right?
So centaur.
Yes, a centaur.
Well, not a reverse centaur. That's important to know. Like, bottom half girl, top half horse. That's weird. That's not sexy.
So
They have a hard time walking.
So the guy and the centaur girl start fucking. Let me say at
As
this
they
point,
do.
I'm fine with the horse pussy. I have no problems at all. But the dude shoves his whole fist into the horse pussy, right? And then he puts his dick in, and I'm like, that's not even the right way to do that. You gotta acclimate, you know? And plus they read you everything to like fit around the guy's dick. So either the guy's dick is as big as his arm, which is fucking wrong. Or the guy's arm is as small as his dick, which is wrong. Yeah.
I envy that man. I envy that man for how absolutely gigantic his dick sounds. I haven't seen whatever hentai you're talking about. Like, I want to now. I know I've got a coworker who was complaining once about the outfit of a centaur in some hentai or something. It might have just been an ecchi. It might have just been like Monster Musume or something.
He tried to talk to me about stuff the other day.
He was talking about the centaur was wearing like a leotard or something that really bothered him because he couldn't see how they would get that on.
Oh, so the age-old dispute of whether pants on a horse would look like this or whether they would look like this, pretty much.
Basically, no, it bothered him that there was a full leotard.
Yeah.
I hope he watches this episode and he goes, yeah, that really does bother me, and he goes on another rant about it soon.
RJ, you know what we should do right now live on the podcast?
All right.
We should write a hentai doujin.
All right. Okay.
All right. What's the name of our girl? All right. It's Slut Chan.
All right, Slut Chan. Okay, and what? All right, and what? How old is Slut Chan?
Slut Chan is a very legal.
Exactly 18.
Exactly 18 years old.
She turned 18 yesterday.
She was waiting outside the DMV, my friend.
I'm gonna turn this into a found footage tape of a murder.
Brayden, your name is on
Murder,
this.
suicide.
RJ, what's the name of our man in our hentai?
Let's call him.
Don't you dare say my name.
Let's call him Brayden Sama-san.
Oh, no.
No.
Let's call him like
Naruto Nori.
Let's say his name's Bob.
Bob
Sama. Bob Sama Senpai.
Bob Sama and Slut Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, opening scene in his bedroom. It's just another ordinary day here in Neo, Montana. Just another boring day. I'm getting ready to go to school. I'm Bob Chan. What's his name?
Bob Sama Senpai.
My name is Bob Senpai. I am a barely 18 student of Fuyukoyo University, and finals are coming up. I start to walk to school, and then you go.
Out of the DMV comes Slut Chan.
No, you
walking
fool.
by.
You got to say it from the first person.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, Picture it, perspective, Slut-chan. Golly, it sure is great to get my new 18-year-old driver's license out of this here DMV I'm walking out of, proving that I'm legal age. I'm walking to school now at whatever university I go to. I can't remember. I don't know if I can go on, Jake.
Okay, so far, it's great to be walking out of this here DMV with my brand new 18-year-old driver's license that proves I'm of legal age to fuck.
Oh boy.
Back to the perspective of Bob Senpai. Oh, there she is, chess club champion, class president Slut-chan. Oh, what would a fella like me have to do to get with a hot piece of tail like that? Anyway, we're at school now. Oh, these finals are really final.
Perspective Slut-chan. Golly, my really, really, really big boobs are really hurting my back. Maybe if I just adjust my bra for just a second, boom, out come they go.
Bob Chan, perspective. What?
I can't believe it. Slut-chan with her boobs exposed right here in front of me at the school that we go to.
This vision of virginity and purity. Slut-chan! Her naughty breasts are coming out of her school uniform.
Braden, go.
Braden, go.
No.
Braden,
they both die in a fiery Columbine accident.
We now look over to classmate Braden Kuhn.
No, fuck you. He whips out a gun, shoots the entire school.
No, he does not do that. This is...
He's currently imagining doing that. You see, Braden Kuhn, he's kind of dark and troubled. He's a chunbyo, as we would call him.
Bob Senpai says there's the neat Braden Kuhn fucking scribbling in his textbook.
Names of everyone in the school dying in a fiery car crash.
Oh, breasts in my face. And then Slut-chan is like, oh, how embarrassing.
But this feeling, what is it? Could it be nice? Question mark, question mark.
Oh, the lovely Slut-chan, so lewd. So that scene is magically over. It's lunchtime. I always like to have my bento box on not the roof, but the suicide net surrounding the schools I'm Spider-Man. My name is Bob Parker. That's stupid. Cut all of that. Okay. I'm having my bento box under the sakura trees, the sakura blossom trees. Wait. Okay, small tangent. Does it bother you when people say sakura blossoms?
No.
Because sakura means cherry blossoms, so it's cherry blossoms. Anyway, okay, we're having lunch. I have sushi and rice ball today. Oh, yum. So good. Anyway, these rice balls sure remind me of breasts. Your turn.
Little does Bob Sama know that just across the path from him is Slut-chan, also eating her
pussy.
Yes, her pussy.
Yes.
No, what? I think our doujin got kind of weird all of a sudden.
Slut-chan runs behind a bush at 1,000,000 miles an hour and starts fucking violently flicking the bean and fucking massaging the meat curtains, and she's like, here's some ASMR for this scene.
Please tell me this is gonna get pulled out. Oh, please don't do that.
Okay.
Those dark talks are about to not just be thoughts.
This needs to come to a close at some point.
Like now.
No.
It's not some point, it's now.
Okay.
No, this isn't going to
Maybe like 10 minutes ago.
Until Bob Sama and Slut-chan have gotten married and have 2.5 children.
2.5.
And that's when we're going to close it. We're going to close it really artsily.
That's right.
Then we're going to have a sequel doujin in the next episode about when the children have grown up and are off to get their own sexual partners of their own.
It's true. So Bob Sama, he fucking grabs his ear and pulls it 2 feet out of his head, right? And he's like, what could that sound be?
It almost sounds like pussy. But that can't be. All of the girls here at this school are pure and wonderful, especially Slutchan.
Exit stage left.
Goodbye, Brayden.
Just for context here, Brayden has left the studio.
And that's how the story ends.
It ends with Brayden Kuhn just leaving the school.
Brayden Kuhn leaves the school at the end. It just violently cuts to him getting ice cream, and then that's the end of the story. Yay!
That's where we learned that Jake is much better at improv than RJ is.
You don't even know what
But
just
they're
happened.
both
It was
just
hilarious.
kind of
Oh,
shit.
man.
Shadow was
RJ.
like looking at me and then just completely just ran into my hamper.
Aww.
Didn't see it. Just like, oh, what?
RJ, I wanted to really quick talk about movies that we've seen lately and kind of do like a summary.
I've seen 2 movies lately.
I saw Murder on the Orient Express, and I'd like to do a summary really quick.
Oh yeah, totally summarize that for me.
All right, so movie begins. We're talking about Motor, or Murder on the Orient Express, as it's known as by everybody, but that's not me. Anyway, so the movie starts with man with 2 mustaches. He fucking frowns at brown boy who brings him 2 eggs that are not the same size, and he says, "You have failed, brown man." So anyway, the movie goes on. He starts walking in the desert, and there's a pile of camel shit, and he steps in it, and then he looks at the camera for 45 straight uninterrupted seconds, and then he gives the O face and comes in his pants, and then he steps in the shit with his other foot. Okay, so we're so now we're like, he said, "I am going to solve a crime." And he points at a man with shoes, and he says, "Because you are wearing shoes, you are the guilty party." And all the desert people chase him, and they catch him, and they fucking cut his head off, and then like puppet his head with their fist. So anyway, he meets his friend, and he says, "I am good at fuck and also having sex with lots of women. You need to get on my train to see this." So he says, "Okay." So they get on the train, and Johnny Depp plays the role of a lifetime. This is the fucking role that Johnny Depp was born to play. He knocks it out of the park playing a corpse.
I see. Yeah, that sounds like Johnny Depp.
Better than every other performance he's done, which is every other character ever.
So the man
Oh,
fucking...
come on, he was great in 21 Jump Street.
Yeah. So the man fucking goes into his cabin and fucking sniffs his dead body, and he says, "I have solved this case." So he pulls everybody off the train, and he says, "I did not do it, so it must have been every single other person on the train." And then the movie ends.
Alright, thank you for saving me the time of watching that movie.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. You saved your $4 movie ticket, everybody.
Oh yeah, that sounds like quite the movie.
Okay.
I recently saw not Batman versus Superman. I recently saw Justice League, aka Batman versus Superman 2. Batmaner versus Supermaner. Yeah, no, I can't come up with a funny summary of that because, you know, it was another DC movie.
Yeah.
I
your
liked
thoughts?
it.
You liked it?
I liked it, honestly, but I'm a huge DC fan, so, you know, I was kind of inclined to like it. It did actually, unfortunately, though, it didn't do enough to fix the problems that Batman vs. Superman had. Because I didn't actually hate Batman vs. Superman either. I think it just fell apart in the last third.
I had the privilege of watching the extended version.
Oh, I haven't
First.
seen the extended version.
So I am blessed to have a more coherent plot line than most people got.
That sounds great.
Yeah. That being said, it is really fucking just messy and convoluted at points.
Yeah, that's the big problem about it. I don't actually hate the movie. Batman vs. Superman was a very entertaining movie for me.
Have you seen the Batman vs. Superman porn parody?
No,
I would
haven't.
say the story is better than the actual movie.
I see.
Yeah, it's more interesting.
No, I don't mind the DC movies, but yeah, they definitely need to do something if they want to catch up with Marvel. I'm hoping Aquaman is that thing, because Aquaman, they're definitely not going to like cancel that or anything. That's very close to releasing, and Jason Momoa was great as Aquaman in Justice League.
That's what I hear from everybody is that he is kind of the unintentional star of the movie, or he's the reason that everybody really enjoyed it.
All of his scenes were enjoyable.
Yeah.
Every time Aquaman's on screen, the movie is very nice, honestly. So, I I'm hoping that Aquaman movie really, I think it's going to have a good amount of humor to it because most of the humor in Justice League that wasn't forced humor, aka the Flash.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Even in the trailers, I was just like, oh
yeah, the Flash is very much forced humor.
He's like, I'm very funny, guys. Yeah. Please laugh at me.
But no, Aquaman was genuine humor in that. I genuinely he had quirky dialogue that wasn't overly quirky.
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
I'm hoping that movie's good.
That's good.
Other than that, I mean, I've seen Thor Ragnarok, and I mean, that was solid, and it makes me angry. It makes me angry the movie was good.
I know what you mean.
I just want Marvel to just fall.
What a weird feeling to have, because I know exactly what you mean, where it's like, okay, I get it, everybody and their dog loves the superhero movies, but we need a few more bad ones so the trend can just die off and we can move to something else. What a weird feeling to have, you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, it does, because I'm just tired. I'm tired of solid Marvel movie after Marvel movie, and you know, most of the movies are solid. I mean, the worst ones are like Thor: The Dark World, Iron Man 3, and Avengers 2, and none of those were terrible. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
You know, those are like easily the worst ones, and yet none of them were terrible.
Yeah,
it's really upsetting. I do kind of want that trend to die off, though. I guess I do want DC to at least get a couple solid movies out.
How upset are you that the Universal shared movie universe is on death row right now?
I would like for Universal
what is
to
it
have
called? The Dark Universe?
Something like that.
Okay, yeah, the Dark Universe.
Yeah, I would like it to take off, honestly, because Universal stuff actually, I feel like if they had a bit of cohesion to it all, would make a really cool, you know, cinematic universe. You know, they talk about how they were like the progenitors of that. You know,
it's very true.
Because you know they had a lot of crossovers back in the old black and white days.
Yeah.
You know? I would like to see that. I didn't actually mind Dracula Untold. The Dracula Untold was very much a mindless action movie that I feel like could be considered a solid mindless action movie. I
didn't see Dracula Untold. I did see I, Frankenstein, and I still haven't seen The Mummy, even though I would really like to.
I haven't seen the new Mummy either. I'm kind of salty because Dracula Untold had its ending changed.
Really?
To set up this cinematic universe that they were trying for. Yeah, it had its ending changed to do that. To basically set up the Mummy, basically.
I see.
And then Dracula Untold didn't do very good, so they kind of ignored it when they made the Mummy.
Yeah.
And then the Mummy didn't do very good, and now they're saying, oh yeah, we're just going to can the whole thing probably.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of upsetting to me because I'm like, then why did you change the ending?
Yeah.
Because from what I've read, the original ending was going to be a much tighter like resolution to everything. Yeah, I liked Dracula Untold. I really did. It was like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't good. Like, it wasn't good in the sense of like, I'd call this cinema.
Yeah.
It was good in the sense that I'd call this, you know, a nice movie that I'm going to spend $6 on or whatever.
Yeah.
Eat some popcorn and watch it and walk out of it going like, wasn't it cool when Dracula summoned that big ass giant fist made of bats and just fisted his enemies with it?
If I was a super villain,
spoiler, the vampire has vampire powers.
Whoa! If I was a super villain, my name would be the Bat Fister.
I don't think I'd read your comic. I think that's a terrible name. I have seen a bad adaptation of a comic recently. I'm a huge fan of the Justice League Dark comics.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them. They're great. And they made a Justice League Dark animated movie. Yeah. And it's so disappointing.
They did.
It is absolutely disappointing.
What is it with DC original animated features that they're just like, oh.
See, here's the thing. I don't actually have a problem with them for the most part. Like, Justice League War was a nice little like, oh yeah, like a story of like the Justice League getting together and beating up Darkseid. Like, that's cool. It would not be a movie I'd see in theaters.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's a movie that's like at least when I watched it, it was available on Netflix. You know, like okay, yeah, I'll watch this for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't bother me. I thought it was cool. They started kind of a continuity with that with like Son of Batman, which was also the same thing. Not good. I'm not going to ever tell someone, oh hey, you need to go watch Son of Batman. But I liked Son of Batman. They did also do Flashpoint.
They did do that,
and that turned out pretty good. I like that. The animation is really weird though, but intentionally so. You can tell.
Teen Titans too. They did
I didn't see that.
Teen Titans.
Oh, you're right.
Judas Contract just came out.
I remember.
Yeah,
that.
I still need to see the Judas Contract.
The only DC animated movie I would ever go out of my way to see is Batman Year One. Ever seen that?
That was great. That was like
really good.
That was an amazing adaptation.
It was
honestly.
really good.
Yeah, but honestly, those DC animated movies, I do actually agree with the whole idea of like DC's got animation on lock. You know, like people say that because DC is just churning out those movies. Yeah. And it almost comes across as just like, okay, yeah, this is a... It almost doesn't come across as movies. It almost feels like a TV show to me.
You want to bring her to a close?
Probably, unless you've got anything else to say.
I don't have anything else to say.
Brayden? Alright. Well, hey, if anyone ever wants to get in contact with me for whatever reason, you know, play some Elder Scrolls Online with me or anything, you can definitely get me at... My Steam username is Chrome Liger. That's pretty easy to remember. You know, it's like C H Rome Liger. That's my plug. That's my plug for this episode.
Hey people, hey party people in the place to be. You know who it is. You know where you want to be. You can always find me at twitter.com @RamenShaman, or you can find my great body of work at ramenshaman.newgrounds.com. Thank you so much. Mwah.
All right, sounds
Feel
great.
free to not find me.
All right, see you, Space Cowboy.
Chewing on the blankie, you